By the time July 2021 came, Kevin Samuels had risen to the rank of the top black creator on both Instagram and on YouTube. And when I mean the top, I mean the most impact. By far, the most talked about in America as a black content creator. And around that time, he started to trend towards the celebrity world. People were talking about him. Later, we found out Nicki Minaj, people like T.I., people like Marlon Wayans, people like Damon John. But of course, you had your critics. And one of them was Creflo Dollar, who is the famous pastor in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, July 25th, 2021, Creflo Dollar released a sermon called The Behavior and the Character of the Last Day Society. Around the 1 hour and 5 minute mark, Creflo Dollar has this to say about Kevin Samuels.
You got to be careful who you listen to. You got to be careful who you listen to. Taffy was showing me about, some guy on television just insulting women, and he's becoming popular because women are so desperate for the truth. They're looking at this so-called knowledge, and the whole bottom line is, if you want to marry a millionaire, then you got to be this kind of way to marry a millionaire. How do you sit up there and listen to somebody insult you? Is it that bad? Well, I got to try something because I got to get a man. You know you can do bad all by yourself, right? You don't need a man to do bad by yourself. You got to have some value about you.
Now, of course, that opinion is interesting. It doesn't address any of the claims made by Kevin Samuels. He's just telling women that they have low self-esteem if they listen to the guy and that they can do bad all by themselves. Now, I want you to listen to this newest clip that has came out about Creflo Dollar, who's giving advice in marriage, and let's see what he's saying today.
What's your name? Is that your real name? Do you have your daddy's name? When can I meet your daddy? Is your dad and mama together? How do you act when you get mad? Do you throw things? Do you cuss around? Do you beat up on people? I need to know, do you have a job? Where do you work at? How much money do you make? How long you been working there? Do you have a bank account? How is your credit? Can I see your credit score? Do you have a house? Or you live in an apartment? Do you pay for your gas in your car? Do you live with your mama and them? I need to understand what you're doing, what you like to eat. Do you plan on being fine like that all your life? Or you plan on getting big? How many children do you want to have? Will you get upset if we don't have no kids? You plan on having an inheritance? Do you have insurance? Can you pay for your funeral if you were to die today? You need to know who you're marrying. And don't you dare get married to somebody talking about, I've never seen him angry since I met him. It is not time to marry that person. You need to see how he looks. And you need to ask that woman, how you look without your makeup? Don't put none on tomorrow. I need to see. The hat you got on your head, is that yours or did you purchase it? And if you purchase it, is it paid for or are you in debt? I need to know. When you blink your eyes, are those your eyelashes or did you buy those from somewhere? I need to know.
You see, this is very interesting. When it comes to women listening to what men want, Creflo Dollar doesn't find a lot of value in it. But now if you're a woman and you're asking a man what he should be providing for you, there are many questions. Now, of course, Creflo Dollar tries to make the situation seem like, okay, well, both men need to see what your woman looks like, what she looks like without makeup and all that stuff. But I believe that this is evident. If you're a woman and you're overweight and you're trying to get a rich man, you're a fool to let a man talk to you like that. Or if you're a single mom. But if you're a woman and you're asking a man that's rich, hey, he has to qualify himself. How much money do you make? What's your credit score? All of these different things. And I'm not against that. I think that's a great advice to a certain degree. It just seems to be a a problem if men ask those questions. Now, also, he did give some good pointers, I will say. I guess he was trying to make it towards both sexes, although it's clear he's talking to the women in his congregation, which probably predominate his audience. But you see that Creflo Dollar feels that men have no right to ask women questions about themselves, but women have every right to ask men those questions. Also, if there is an opposing view, like let's say the one that Kevin Samuels took, well, you want to get a man that bad, you can be bad all by yourself. In other words, if you need to change your circumstances to get a rich man, you shouldn't worry about getting a rich man, because I'm your man, I'm your pastor. I need you to be listening to me and giving me all your money, and you can do bad all by yourself. Yeah, that's what he's saying. And not only he's saying that, that's what Dr. Umar Johnson is saying. If you don't believe me, we can listen to what Dr. Umar is saying in this clip.
I didn't support it at all.
Okay.
I thought it was divisive. I thought it was very Eurocentric in his approach to criticism. I think his expectations for women were very superficial in terms of what was important. There was a heavy focus on how much you make and how good you look. No woman is going to look good forever.
No.
They're going to get pregnant. They're going to get older. To me, telling women that you are too fat or too small or too broke, and that's the reason why you don't have a man, that is psychopathological and it is destructive to our community. I did not agree with his approach at all. And the fact that he did have a lot of people who did speaks to how decadent and speaks to how self-hating we can be as a people. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of the women who supported Kevin Samuels supported him because they don't like other black women, and they enjoyed sitting back on their couch, sipping their tea, and watch this black man tear black women's self-esteems to shreds.
That's also Dr. Umar giving his opinion on Kevin Samuels. Although, if we listen to Dr. Umar and some of his things he has to say, he agrees with Kevin Samuels, like in this clip right here.
And what I mean by that, okay, because let me tell you what I see. A lot of sisters will spend their best years playing around with men who they're sexually attracted to, but have absolutely no promise for them as a husband or as a father. The woman knows this, but she's attracted to him sexually. He's popular. He's swagalicious. She knows he's not husband material. She knows he's not father material. But I love the attention I'm getting from this handsome, attractive, popular man. When she gets too old to be of any use to men of that type, the swag daddies, she now goes out looking for a husband. At this point, you're 35 to 45, still gorgeous, because black don't crack. But brothers 35 to 45, especially in their 40s and 50s, when they come across a drop-dead gorgeous sister who hasn't been married, and in some cases haven't even had children, a lot of brothers tend to back off. They say something ain't right here, because who you are and what you bring to the table, somebody should have been snatched you up. And most men tend to assume, and very often accurately so, that you wasted your 20s and 30s playing the field instead of getting serious about building your family. Sisters tend to do exactly what brothers do in their 20s and 30s, and that is play around and enjoy themselves. The problem with that is men can make babies forever, women cannot. And so I think in the socializing of our daughters, black women have to pull back just a little on this independent woman phenomenon that our girls are being indoctrinated with, because I think we're overdoing it to the point of radical black feminism, and I think it's working against black women's ability to find a suitable mate in their 20s and in their 30s. Let me give you this. I'm gonna give you personal. I was not one of the swag daddies in high school. I was a bookworm. I was the black activist. I was the nerd. I was attractive, and girls appreciated that. But they were not all over me the way they were around some of these other brothers. But guess who I hear from now? Those same women who they knew I was going to be something. They knew it. Okay? I was voted most likely to succeed in my class. They knew it. And I'm not just speaking of the girls in high school, even in my neighborhood. You understand? Because there was only but so many girls in high school. They saw it, but they chose the swag daddies. In me was a husband. In other brothers, there was a husband, but at the time, you wanted the swag daddy. And that's okay if you only want the swag daddy for a couple years. But no, you want to play with the swag daddies your whole 20s, and then you want to go into your 30s, and you want to play with the guy with the Benz and the Beamer and the this and the that. Nah, black women have to know when to call it quits. Get serious about building that family, because what I'm seeing a lot of sisters do, and this is unfair. This is unfair to black men. I hear a lot of women in their 40s and 50s talking about they can't find no good men, right? That's partially true. But you know what the other part is?
Hold on now, let him finish.
It's partially true, but here's the other part. What were you doing in your 20s and 30s that stopped you from finding one then? Why do we have so many 40 and 50-year-old beautiful women with so much going for them, never been married? It's one thing to have tried it and it didn't work. I'm saying you've never been married. You know why? Because you was out there playing that field, having your fun, and then you woke up one day and said, damn, I'll be 43 tomorrow. And I ain't never been proposed to, and I ain't never even thought about it. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a rush to get married, and because brothers are not jumping at the opportunity because they know there must be a story here, all of a sudden, we're not serious. Don't get me wrong. There's some truth to the narrative. But the other part of the narrative, black women are waiting too long to get serious about building family.
You see, I think the situation is clear. These guys want to be the only kind of men that give any kind of advice to black women. You see that with black pastors. You see that with some people in the pro-black community, because they want the women, for the most part, in my honest opinion, to be only loyal and subject to them and not adding any value for a real man. That's why men are talked down upon in black churches and also in the pro-black Pan-African community, and then they're castigated if they go into something different. But again, only these guys should be able to give advice, not you or not me. And if you do give advice, they'll never address the argument straight out. They'll always talk about, well, you don't have a self-esteem to listen to that guy. You know, you can always do bad all by yourself, queen. That's what you're always going to hear. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. I'm out.